Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a boho bunny. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight. I've got my husband Mark with me.
I should have put that squeaker down. Sorry.
He's man in chat tonight, so if you've got questions while I'm painting, you can ask those, and I'll try to answer. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Sorry, we got some distraction in the studio tonight. My dog Fitzpickle has decided it's playtime. Keeps bringing us squeaky toys. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I am going to be using a 12 by 12 inch canvas tonight. Sorry. I don't know why it's giving me the giggles. This is a watercolor canvas board. You can really use any size that you want, but I like the square ones for this kind of portrait mode. I'll be using a few different brushes. The Filbert brushes will kind of help give us a little bit of softness to our fur. So I'm going to use Filberts in the short Filbert from Princeton Aspen and number 4, and then I'm going to use my 2 blenders for some other ones. VelvetTouch blender 3/8 inch and 1/4 inch, and for some of the blocking in the background, I've got a 12 inch bright and a 6 angle bright, and then we'll probably need a round brush, which I don't have, which I'll grab. And I am not prepared tonight. Let me see. Sorry. Yeah, so I'll show you the brushes as we use them. I'm gonna grab another round one here. There we go. We'll need that for the eyes and stuff. Let me go over the colors. I've got Carbon Black, Burnt Umber, Burnt Sienna, Quinacridone Burnt Orange. That's what I put on the background. Just a very, very thin wash of Quinacridone Burnt Orange. This is Indian Yellow Hue, Cadmium Yellow Light, Cobalt Teal, an Ultramarine Blue, Quinacridone Magenta, Cadmium Red Light, and Unbleached Titanium, Titanium White, and some gloss glazing liquid in case we need to do some glazing. It also kind of has an extender in it, so it can help give us a little extra dry time if we're needing to do some blending. All right, but I'm gonna make this one kind of impressionist style. We got a little really cute floppy eared bunny here as our subject, so I'm going to keep the brush strokes pretty loose and paint it kind of impressionist style. So I want to fill in the bunny right about in here and then leave a couple inches at least for the flowers. So I'm going to kind of circle in some flower area here, kind of where I want the flowers to be. And then that way I know kind of how much room I have for my bunny. So his head's going to sit, or her head is going to sit right in here somewhere. It's going to be the, can you see that okay? I think, okay. So then the ears are going to kind of come down, curve around, and flop out this way. Super cute. This may be my spirit animal with the chubby cheeks. I have that problem too. Super cute. Okay, there we go. Oh, I love it. And okay, I'm gonna definitely be having some cuteness overload tonight. I might make the face a little bit bigger just to fill in this area a little bit more, bring it down just a little bit more, maybe. That's very angular. Oh, there's cheek here, angle this way, straight across the bottom, and then nose. I'm going to bring that nose down since I brought the rest of the face down. And I'm just using regular school chalk for this. So, little nose, super cute. And then the mouth is kind of right in here, so that kind of breaks off right there. You're seeing just a little bit of the mouth. And then the eyes, I brought this eye out a little bit more in the photograph. It wasn't showing as much, but I kind of manipulated it so you could see a little bit more. Just think it looks a little bit better. So there, and I might bring that down just a little bit. I feel like it's kind of, let me see. from the top of the head to the nose. 1, 2, 3. It's about 3. 1, 2, 3. So maybe bring that down just a little bit more. Somewhere in there. This one's going to be in here, though. Sorry. I'm making a mess of my canvas. There we go. Oh, my gosh. All right. This one we're seeing more of the side of the face. And this one we're seeing that eye kind of right on the edge of the face. Let me just clean that whole mess off and start over. So there we go. That eye is going to sit now off to the side there. And make sure that it's in the same plane as this one. Okay, cute. It's looking a little cross-eyed right now, but we'll fix it when we get to painting. No problem. And I did the orange beat on the background because there's a lot of warm tones in this, and I wanted to do some blues in the fur, and so that orangey tone with the blue is going to really play against each other nicely. So I'm going to go a little bit more blue than gray with our bunny, play with the colors just a little bit. All right, so let's go ahead and start with my angle brush, or no, I'm sorry, Filbert brush here. And I'm going to get some of the burnt umber and ultramarine blue and just a little bit of the magenta. And I'm going to go a little bit of kind of a violet color for my darkest parts of my bunny here. So I'm going to start there. I'm going to add a little bit of white, a little bit more magenta there. There we go. And there's not that much of, not that many places in the fur that's really dark, but kind of right around the face here, there's some darker areas. So, and right by the ear here. Okay, so I'm going to kind of start there and do some in the nose. This is very roughly laying in some color here. I'm going to get some more blue, and I'm using the Aspen brushes because they're a little bit firmer, so they're going to give me a little bit more traction on the canvas, pushing this heavy body acrylic around. So I'm going to mix this color with a little bit of the Cobalt Teal, a little bit more of the Ultramarine Blue. I'm not wanting my bunny to be blue totally, but I am going to put some of these colors in here, and then we'll paint over this. So this is just our undertones that will be kind of peeking through. And I do want to leave a little bit of that orangey color peeking through too. So he's cute. It's not looking like much right yet, but it'll get there.
I say we leave it just like this and call it done.
I'll have to bring the flowers down a little bit.
Man, one day, I mean, you almost had the blue cow, and then you backed out.
True, that's true. I did chicken out of the blue cow. I'm gonna get some more teal. Maybe get a little bit of burnt sienna with this teal. That'll make kind of a warmish brown color. Now the cat's getting in on the act in the studio here, so just getting visited by all the animals tonight.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, "Oh, you didn't tell me there was a show going on."
Yeah, before the show started, I had the dog in my lap.
Yeah.
And then he decided to go get a toy and bring in the show properly.
With the toy, yeah. He's like, okay.
Well, the funny part is that we listened to some upbeat music going into the show, just,
Yeah.
It's our thing. And he comes in just squeaking the toy to the beat
of the music.
Like, yeah, let's do this. Yeah. Woo.
Woo. We got the right toy for that.
All I know is that I need more cow squeaky.
Cow squeaky. Need more squirrel.
Okay, from now on, no more cowbell. For Super Chat, it's going to be a squeaky toy.
Squeaky toy. More squeaky toy. Okay, he's in the unbleached titanium here. Pretty much just solid unbleached titanium. We're Man, my dog tonight, sorry. We're just having fun. Getting some of the yellow here. Don't want it to turn. Probably should have cleaned out my brush because I still had that blue in there. So I'm getting some of the Indian Yellow Hue and some burnt sienna here. I'm gonna wet. UPS guy?
Yeah, so our UPS guy, his truck has some squeaky brakes. And so Fitzpickle heard his brakes.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I know what that means. There's somebody coming to my door.
Yep.
For some reason. Why would he expect the UPS guy to come to the door?
That never happens.
No, I'm sure it doesn't.
So weird. So you must have some wrong house.
There it is.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I just turned the volume down so we don't have everybody
Thank you. Wow.
If this is your first time, well, yeah, this is how it goes.
Welcome to live streaming with pets. And no, see, the problem is our youngest son used to watch the animals for us during the show, and now he's gone and deserted us for college, and we're on our own. So we are left to our own devices here. It's not going well. We need to hire a pet sitter during the shows, I think. All right, so now I've got just a tad of black and burnt umber and then my white. I have not cleaned out my brush, so I've got all the colors that we started with. So I'm just making kind of a dark gray. It's turning a bit green because of the thing. Cashmere's eating Mark's Shamrock Shake over here. When now that he left, she was trying to get mine the other day, but I wasn't sharing. So now she's like, okay, moving in on his shake. As soon as he left the room.
She's just getting the empty cup.
She's just getting the...
So should we do a live unboxing of nail polish? I'm assuming.
Is it more nail polish?
I don't know.
Might be. What is it? Where's the box?
There were 3 packages.
Oh. It's probably garden stuff. I've been buying a lot of garden stuff lately.
Does Ulta Beauty Supply
What?
sell gardening stuff?
Pretty sure.
I didn't know they carried gardening things. Interesting.
I don't know. It's so weird. Okay. Just trying to get a lighter value color here. Really, I'm not as concerned with the colors right now. I'm just kind of throwing colors on that have the right value. So, and then we will come back in here in a minute. Fitzy, get out of the trash. Get out of there. And finish this. Values, thank you. Yes, and then I'll put my finishing colors on in the right, colors, or at least get them closer to realistic colors here, using a little bit of the magenta with my yellow that I mixed earlier. I'm going to use that on my nose and on this side of the belly. And then maybe get some of this turquoisey color, put it in here. This is going to look like a hot mess before it gets better, so just going to know that when you're painting yours, it's going to look bad. You're going to be like, I'm probably not doing this right, and that's when you know you're on the right track. It's always looks worse before it looks better with acrylics, seems like. I call this the ugly stage, and it happens with every painting. Just have to build up layers until you get to the right colors. So, and the right, finish. So this little air part is flopping over right here. And it's right there. Oh, he's so stinking cute. I can't stand it. I look up at the screen and see him when I'm in here, I don't really focus on him as much, and then every now and then I'll look up at the screen and see the whole thing, in one setting, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's so cute. You like it? Yeah, I do too. I like him.
So people may or may not be having a drinking game in chat for every time you say cute, so
Yeah.
we may lose some chatters.
I wouldn't bet against cute tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of cutes.
Mixing the ultramarine blue and the turquoise here. I'm going to go over the darker-ish areas here. And I'm going to need to put some of that purple back in the nose here. So I'm just going to put some of that back in. And really, this is the way I would do the whole painting if I was doing a super loose, you know, color version or, you know, impressionist version. And I, to get this color scheme, I just went on my computer yesterday and just did a filter, you know, I can't remember what this one was called, but there's so many different filters. You can, you know, get pretty creative with them. And it just was one of the ones that I kind of liked. So I saved it, and so that's kind of what I'm working off of, is like a version of the original photo that has been altered a little bit. It kind of helps me sort of block out where my colors are going to be, but you can also kind of just do this on your own if you just kind of have an idea of where you want, you know, your you know, all my yellow areas are going to be now green, or all my, you know, pink areas are going to be whatever, purple or whatever. You just change the colors that you're seeing on the canvas to whatever new color that you want to make them. I would kind of tend to stick with warm colors in the place that warm colors are in your photos. So if you're, you know, changing your colors, I would pick warmer versions of the colors. So, you know, even if you're using a color that's a cool color like a blue, you could still use a warmer version of that, which would be like the teal or the green blue, you know, in the place of a warm color like red or something like that, say. I don't know if that made sense, but let me get some magenta here. Put some magenta in the ear right there. Just playing. This is fun. We're just painting. It doesn't have to be realistic every time. I know this is going to freak some people out. I'll get comments about it, but, you know, I'm going to play, have fun with it sometimes.
I like it.
Try new things. Never know unless you try.
This is true.
I'm going to leave that warm, then put a little bit of this
Except for guac.
bluish.
It just looks nasty, so.
Guac is so good. You do not know what you're missing, hun. And you don't want to know, right? Is it the...
You can have all mine.
That's true. I don't know why I'm trying to talk you into eating it, because it's more for me. Getting this brown here. Use that down here. Still have that purple in my brush, but that's all right. Again, have not cleaned out my brush, so we're getting all kinds of fun colors here now. You never know what's going to come off. But you can see how this brush really does fast work of this and kind of leaves us some really nice brush strokes. And if I come into an area that's already a little bit wet, it'll sort of blend for me too. And I can kind of push this color around really nicely, easily. Come over here. This color, this area is already kind of dry, so it won't blend for me as well. But I can get some of this color that was this kind of brownish, come up on top and just kind of blend back over that edge and sort of smooth that out a little bit. Get some of the lighter color here on the tip of the ear. Oh, he's so cute. Get some of this pinkish color, some of my white, and doing another little rough. He's got all these little fluff folds here. Fluffy bits.
Do you remember which
Turquoise here.
app you used to do the color? know there's a Prisma that has a bunch of filters in it.
Yeah, that's not the one I used. It's in my tablet. I can't remember. I have a lot of them. So on my, different devices, I have different ones that I kind of pull from. So
Okay.
I want to say Photo Director. It's one that you kind of have to pay for the better version, And I don't pay for the better version. I don't pay for the good stuff. I just use the basic stuff. That's probably why I have so many, because I just, just switch back and forth.
Instead of paying for one,
Right,
one,
I just try to find one that's got something that I want. All right, so maybe get a little bit of this reddish too, getting the burnt umber and some of the magenta, some of the reddish. And I'm gonna go back in here and kind of play with the nose now. I'm gonna go back in with some darker, more set colors here. These will be kind of our finishing colors almost. And I'll go ahead and keep it this kind of wild color scheme. If everybody's liking it, I like it. I think it's pretty cool. Why not? And if you want to do gray, I have lots of gray animals that I've done. So lots of black and white and different things. So you can probably find one of those. But I will kind of gray this out just a little bit. So adding a little bit more of the burnt umber color to it. And we'll go back in. Now I'm going to add texture. And I'm going to go back over these areas and just kind of add some texture. I could leave it pretty much like it is if I wanted to, so nothing wrong with it being, really kind of wild colors like this. But I'm going to get a little bit of this magenta color that I mixed and do a little bit of this on the nose. Just a little bit darker color here. Just blend that in over the nose area. And then I want to round it out. So I need to kind of, I want to get some black, a little bit of brown, ultramarine blue, and make a purple. Ultramarine blue and ultramarine blue and quinacridone magenta. My goodness, having a hard time saying that. Speaking of saying things, I just did a podcast with the Brush Guys, or the old owners of the Brush Guys. They sold it a couple of years ago, and they started a podcast about art supplies, which I thought was kind of really cool, called Art Supply Insider. He said there's a lot of podcasts out there, but not a lot that deal with art supplies, and they have a lot of knowledge about it from working in the field for so many years and have a lot of contacts, with a lot of industry people. So they've been doing podcasts. I felt very honored to be included because there's some pretty prestigious names that have, the Howard Kaufman, the designer, he sold Princeton brush a few years ago, so I don't know what his title is now, but he was the owner and creator of Princeton brush, and he did an interview with them recently, and that was fascinating. I learned some stuff about brushes I didn't know. So but yeah, it's pretty cool. So we just talked about art supplies, just talked about brushes mostly and what I like, how I got started in painting, and some, not much about that. Mostly it was about just art supply talk. But ooh, I'm loving this kind of bright pop of more orangey pink here. Just getting some of this magenta here with the cadmium red light here. And just when I want to blend this together, I just need to pick up a little bit of whatever that color is that's next to it. And I have to be careful because the orange and the blue here are not going to mix well, because orange and blue are opposites, so they'll make a brown. I've got a lot of blue in this purple that's in this shadow. I'll get some of that ultramarine blue and just kind of come in with that. Mix those. And then pick up some of the pinkish color. I need to let that dry. It's just trying to mix weird. And get some turquoise here. And if you're getting muddy colors, just clean out your brush in between colors. So I don't mind the more neutral colors because they're a little bit more natural, but if you do find that you're getting colors that are not pleasing, you know, that are kind of ugly, then just clean out your brush a little bit more between these colors, or just wipe off your layer, and you know, before you start on the next. So getting a little bit more of that blue, adding that in here, and getting the white and the unbleached titanium, and just kind of mixing up what's left in my brush here. And I'm going to just make some texture marks on the ears, coming down and around. And I'm just setting my brush down kind of on an angle to do this, so that I'm getting kind of a smaller portion of it touching the canvas. Get a little bit of that yellow, want a little bit more of a yellowish. There we go. And if it's turning our bunny green, that's okay. Well, you can always go back in and take that part out, but we're getting crazy with the colors anyways. Why not have a green bunny? It's almost St. Patrick's Day. It would make sense, you know. That's why I did my nails green. Let me be painting on Thursday, which is St. Patrick's Day, so thought I'd get ready for it a little early. Okay, so just getting kind of a lighter color than we have there right now, and just scraping that on, trying to get a little bit of texture in my ears. And you can see I'm not going in and really carefully painting in every little, you know, hair with this technique. This style of painting is much more free. So getting just kind of the impression, that's where the name came from, of the look that we're going for. It still can look realistic. Impressionistic doesn't necessarily mean doesn't look real. It just means that we're leaving a lot more brush strokes, and in this case we're kind of playing with the colors too. And there's other words for it: expressionism, fauvism, which is kind of what we're doing here, is a playing with color. So all kinds of different terms for making art. Just doesn't have to have a reason or a name. Just do it.
Got a question here.
Doing it. Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm going to mix a little bit of like a magenta with the ultramarine blue and the burnt orange. Okay, go.
They want to know, can you have too many layers?
Oh yeah, you can always do too many for sure. And if you do too many, you can end up with it being a little bit gummy. So you do kind of need to know sort of when to stop. But
no, that rule only applies to painting. You cannot have too many layers when it comes to cake. So that's another reason why cooking is better.
Too many layers is when it falls over. That's when you know you got to stop.
Then my cake should have stopped at 1.
Right. Mark's cake that he made split in half. It just cut itself. It was like, here.
It's like, I'm so done.
I'm done.
I'm cutting myself and sliding off the plate.
He did 2 round cakes and they domed, they dome at the top instead of cutting them like you're supposed to. He put them face to face. So he did the two domes face to face. So the flat part was on top, which, granted. And then he just tried to stuff the middle with more frosting, which made it just
awesome.
fall out. And then eventually the half broke and just split right down. And it was right when we were cutting it, or just before we were, I think they were doing happy birthday to me. And yeah, that was classic.
We saved a step. We didn't have to cut the cake.
I think we all laughed so hard. Oh my gosh, that was great. All right, well, look at him. He's looking pretty good, actually. I mean, not bad. Creepy eyes notwithstanding. Let's go ahead and put in those eyes. That will help define him a little bit better. So I'm going to get, where is my, oh, there it is, right next to me. That would be, I was playing on Mark right there. Just, Mark was looking for, he bought me, what was it, Valentine's Day? Got me some really cute butterflies for the studio. A butterfly garland, and he went to the shop and was looking for them. I'll let you tell the rest of the story. Here, I've got black. I'm going to fill in the eyes here. Go.
So, they have these, it's, what you call it, garland? Yeah, I mean, it's just a string of butterflies.
Right, paper butterflies.
Right, they're all different materials, and they're really cute, and they had them displayed out there on the window. It's like, oh, that's pretty neat. So I see the basket with all the different ones. Because they didn't have just butterfly, they had some other styles. And so I'm going through and I can't find any butterflies. And I'm looking. And I know, I'm a guy. How many times have I looked for something at home and tell Angela I can't find it, and then it's like right there. So I'm trying, I'm looking. Finally, I just asked the lady, hey, do you have any more butterflies? She goes, you mean like those? Oh, the ones in the basket right next to my head? Yeah, those are the ones.
Those, never mind. You should have just said no. Those, nope, not those.
Yeah.
Duh.
They're
not, obviously not those ones. I mean.
They're not in the basket with all the other ones. They're in their own basket right next to my head. So. Yeah. She was kind enough not to say anything and just went on about her business.
That made my day, because I was like, me and that woman connected in that moment. She didn't know me, but I felt her.
And she said a little prayer for you, I think. The Lord help that woman. She has to deal with that on a daily basis. Be strong.
I wonder how many people she went home and told about that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, gonna use a little bit of still in black. That one, I think we got him fairly close. This one still looks a little funky. I'd probably because I added him when he wasn't there, so it's probably not quite in the right spot or quite the right size. So I'm gonna make him a little smaller. And honestly, when I get to stuff like this, I just kind of mess with it until it looks right to me. So it's just a matter of kind of playing with it. I think bringing it in that corner is going to help, making it kind of more of a teardrop shape right here. Okay, that's better, I think. And then I'll kind of flatten out this end of it a little bit. Bring it down a little bit more. 2.2, and you just kind of want those to line up there. So keep an eye on where your eyes are, making sure that they're kind of lining up. And I'm going to get some burnt umber, or some ultramarine blue, and with this black, mix it with this reddish here. I'm just going to go back in here and that nose a little bit better. And Then we've got a little bit of that little chin here that we're missing. Get a little bit of that kind of yellowish tone here. Do the little chin. Just a little bit right there. Oh, he's so cute. Oh my gosh. This is so fun. I hope you guys paint this. This is really, if you're in a bad mood, this is the one to get right here. This you cannot help but be cheered up when you're painting this dude. I've been looking forward to this all week. And somebody was like, are you feeling better? And I'm like, not 100%, but I'm feeling better enough to paint this guy. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to get some more of my lighter color here. Not quite white, but lighter-ish. Come right here next to this eye here. And I've got a smaller brush. This is the 2 Filbert now. So I was using the 4 short Filbert before. And this is going to be the 2. Well, it's got a longer bristles. I wish they made a 2 short Filbert, but they don't.
Well, we just found out we'll contact Princeton and we'll have an Angela 2 short Filbert.
Man, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, they had, what's her name? Scrubby brush. What was it?
Willow. Willow?
Yeah, the Willow's blender. Yeah. So Angela's Filbert. I like it.
Okay, I'm going to go back over this white, which is a little bit much, so I'm just kind of toning it down a little bit. And then Mark always thinks I have more influence than I do for some reason. I guess you don't know unless you ask, right? You know.
That's right.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of take some of that off right there. That's coming up around. There's kind of a lighter color that comes up around on both sides of the nose there. Kind of narrows it down. That cuteness, closer set eyes, and smaller nose. Those are 2 of the cuteness, easy cuteness factors right there. Just bump up your cuteness real easy doing those 2 things. Narrow the nose, narrow the eyes. Super cute. Getting some more of the turquoise, bringing it down. Gonna kind of blend down that nose just a little bit. And so you were asking about, using too many layers. Yes, you can use too many layers if you're, especially if you are painting over an area that is not fully dry yet. You can end up making a big gummy mess because the under layers will start to dry and then they'll stick to the new layers that you're trying to put on, and then you'll end up with just a bunch of paint that is all trying to stick to your brush and not wanting to stick to the canvas, and it becomes a really frustrating process. And anytime anybody tells me, hey, I've been trying to paint with acrylics and they're getting tacky, or my paints are tacky, then I just it's a lot of times it's because you're trying to paint with them for too long. You're not letting your layers dry in between. So let your layers dry. As soon as you start to feel them get tacky or start sticking or acting weird, just back off, let it dry, and then do your next layer. You don't even if it doesn't look good. And I think that's the thing that people get frustrated with too, is because with these layers it doesn't look good, and so you're just kind of trying to get it to where it looks good, and you don't want to stop because it doesn't look good, and so you just keep painting, and then you're making it worse because you've got to let those layers dry. So you can get the teal and the magenta here and kind of make an in-between color. It's got a little bit of that purple and a little bit of that turquoisey color. And coming up under the eye. Now I'm kind of sculpting the face a little bit, and I had a lot more of the darker color than I had here. And really, we don't have to do it exactly like our bunny as far as where the dark spots are on the face and stuff. You know, it's just, this is not necessarily a matter of the face sculpture. It's more of the matter of the coloring of the bunny that's in our photograph here. So we could have left it a little bit lighter. And I'll probably lighten up this middle part because I kind of don't like what it's doing. It doesn't look right to me. So let me get a little bit of my blue. I made kind of a gray with my Ultramarine Blue and Burnt Umber here. It still had a lot of the blue in it, so it wasn't fully gray. If you went more brown, it would be more gray. So if you want it to be a little bit more natural gray, that you know, just add a little bit more of the burnt umber to it as you do this. I'm gonna get some of that yellowish color. That I don't want to lose all these little bits where the background is peeking through, though. That's kind of what I'm tending to do here, and I don't want to do that because I like those little spots. So getting some of that yellow. And then so you've got these really dark, weird areas, and you've got all these areas here where it's not transitioned, so I'm just going to cat cam.
Yeah, just sitting over
Just don't move. Yeah. She gets so mad at me when I move. She'll come and lay on me and fall asleep, and then I move and she's like gets so irritated with me, and I'm like, if you don't like it, I'm not gonna not move for 2 hours while you nap. Sorry. That is not gonna happen. What did you just do?
Needed a picture of that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, she does not like you moving for sure.
All right, using more of the blues here, both my blues, and honestly just kind of trying to make a transition between the color that I have and the color that is next to it a little bit. So finding a color that's sort of in between the two can help, or finding a color that's close to the color that, you know, is down can help. I'm gonna add a little bit of this lighter blue to the nose here. There's this little crease in the nose right here, so I'm gonna kind of leave it dark and add a little bit of the lighter color on top and bottom on the crease. Getting some of that magenta, adding that to my nose crease there. And just some above. Kind of between the eyes here. Okay, and I want this area to be fairly dark up here because that's where the flowers are going to go, so they'll have a little bit of a shadow on the hair. I'm still not happy with the color of that, so I think I'm going to get a little bit of white. Although in the photograph it's not pink at all, it's just fur. So I don't know why I'm trying to make it like pink, but there we go. We'll just make it a little bit more pink. I'm pretty happy with this. Over here, I might mess with this ear a little bit, bring a little bit of this lighter color around it because it's kind of flat right now. So let's go ahead and get a little bit of that lighter color and kind of bring it around right there. So you're seeing the inside of the ear a little bit. And let's highlight the top of this ear a little bit more unbleached titanium, a little bit of white. This one's got, kind of trying to make sure that my ears are coming down to about the same spot too. So I might bring this one down just a little more. Cute.
So somebody had a question in chat, which you happened to talk about in the podcast, and that is the drying and storing of paintings.
Right.
And I believe you said 24 hours usually to dry. And of course, it's up to your location, how humid it is, and how thick the paint is, so
Sure.
forth. And then up to a week to cure. Since it is a plastic, it goes through a chemical process.
Right.
And then you recommend to seal it with a varnish.
Yes.
And then if you're storing them, to use like a wax paper.
Glassine paper, it's called.
Glassine.
Glassine paper. But yes, it is kind of a wax paper. I think that could be, I think parchment paper is probably closer to the right texture.
Okay.
What was I going to say? I don't usually varnish mine before I store them either. So I usually just varnish them when I'm ready to hang them because I'm lazy that way. So,
And you use a isolation coat and a varnish in one of your beginner series from this time last year.
right.
You did
I show how to do that.
Right.
I do. Yeah, and it's in the title of the video. So if you just look at my beginner series, it'll be in there. If you go to my YouTube homepage, my beginner series is right there on the channel homepage. So get a little bit more blue here, just kind of developing out this cheek and okay. See, so cute. Nobody would look at this and think it's not a bunny. It looks like a bunny. Well, we got to play with colors, so it's a win-win. I'm going to get some more of this darker purple color here, Ultramarine Blue and Quinacridone Magenta, and then just go back in here with it really dark. And just add that back in where I want it really, really dark. Right in the... This part stayed dark. This part kind of got washed out. So just kind of going back in there and making that dark again. I might make it a little bit darker under the chin. Maybe not as dark as that. So get some of that ultramarine blue. A little bit of burnt umber. And just kind of go up underneath here. And this is where we could glaze. So we'll get some glaze. And I'm just going to add a little color. I don't want to add too much of the new paint that layers necessarily. Just gonna add a little bit of that thinned out blue there. And this is just glaze, it's just transparent color, that's all it is. So I'm just putting down color that you're seeing through to the base layer that we've already put down. So you kind of just have to know what your color is going to do on top of the other layer. You want to use a color that's going to mix well visually with the color that's already down on the canvas, because it can change the color, change the tone of the color, you know, a little bit. There we go. Looks good. He's definitely a little bit different cheek structure than our other bunny, but I think think we rounded him out nicely, I think. He's got a cuteness. Definite cuteness going on. Bringing up those little cheeks right here, these little jowls that he's got. I have these too. Again, so much in common.
Yes, cute, cute, cute.
Oh.
The original cuteness factor.
Right. And you know, if you get your glaze on there, well, this is already drying, but I was going to say you could also kind of blend it out with your finger a little bit too. Get some of that lighter color here, just kind of blend up over it just a little bit while it's still sort of wet. Blend it out a bit. I love our blue bunny. I hope you guys like him too. He's so cute. Okay. I can't stand it.
Make sure you have your designated painter with you tonight.
Yeah. Okay, getting some of the Quinacridone burnt orange here. You're going to put it around the eyes just a little bit. It's a little bit of that peeking in. And then I'm going to get some Ultramarine Blue and my white. You could use zinc white here if you wanted to. I'm going to add our details to our eyes of our bunny here. So lots of thinned out blue paint here, mostly white. And okay, so I'm going to do like a little bit here. I might do just a little on the outer part of the eye. I'll dab that off. I might just do like a little dab there, a little dab there. Just a little. And then right in here. And this color here could probably be like a different color. It could be more of like a brown or another color. I'm going to get a little bit of black here, and I'm just going to kind of clean up around the edges of my eye because I kind of got a little bit dirty when I was painting over. But it kind of softened up the edges. You can see a little bit where I painted over, and you can still see that black through, which kind of makes it cute, a softer edge, so I don't mind that too much. And I'm going to get the bright white just on the very tip of my brush. This is the 4 round that I'm using here. And do just a little dab in the middle of that more cloudy color, and that's what gives it that depth. That's the kind of secret sauce. And I don't think I want as much of that little circle-y thing right here, so I'm going to take some of that out. Okay, that's better. Yeah, not bad. Okay, I don't know. Yeah. There we go. And then I'm going to do some get, with this brush, I'm going to get a little bit of white, a little bit of the blue or whatever this color is that's been above it here, a little bit of the Unbleached Titanium, just kind of a muddy grayish color, and I'm going to kind of come up over and do some little eyelashes. Just a few. And of course our painting hasn't got, now he looks angry, hasn't got all the, you know, super realism, so I'm not gonna do a ton of this. But if you wanted to go a little bit more realistic, this is where you could do it with this brush and, you know, go back in now and do more. Sorry, I'm trying to pull the paper towel out from under my thing there. Let's get a new one. Sometimes when I get an art brain, it's really hard to think. Get so focused on what I'm doing. It's like, oh, that would be easier. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Gonna bring that black up again. Just don't like it being that angry bunny. Okay, there we go. Not so angry. It's amazing, one little tiny millimeter, but it does make a difference. And I'm going to put some of that magenta down here by his nose. A little bit more of it. I'm going to get the burnt orange and magenta both. A little bit of both. And just add a little bit of that. Right there in the nose. Kind of that bottom corner of it. There. Cute. Okay, and then I might see how it's kind of looking flat. He looks Botoxed right now. He's had a little too much Botox. So we're going to just give him a little bit more of a natural look here. Give him a little bit of a bag under his eye here. A little bit of a gray. There we go. Much better. No, not Botox bunny. It's Boho bunny, not Botox. Cracking myself up here. Sorry you didn't laugh.
No, I'm laughing at your Botox.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't hear it. Okay. There we go. Bring that out just a little bit right here. All right, let's work on our flowers. We'll let that set, and we can mess with him some more if we feel like we need to later, but I actually noticed this part over here that needed a little something. Right, let's I'm going to go ahead and paint the background because I want to get that out of the way before I do my flowers. So I'm going to get, I tried several different backgrounds, including kind of gray and blue and like a teal, and they all looked really good. So you could use whatever you wanted, but I think I decided I liked this kind of soft millennial pink color that's got a little bit of an orangey tone to it. So that's what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to leave a little bit of that orange peeking through here and there. That orange is going to add vibrancy. It adds vibrancy. You see it through the bunny, and you'll see it in between here when we're doing this. It's just going to add just a little extra glamour or whatever, a little extra bit of depth and interest to the painting than if we just painted it straight onto white.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to blend this out as I go, so there might be some like little bits of color that, you know, are not cooperating or not exactly the same color. It doesn't have to be the same color exactly. Totally fine with that.
So while you do that, I'll talk a little bit about patreon.com/AngelaFineArt.
Yep.
And that's where you can support the channel and also get a whole bunch of goodies.
Yes.
So right now you have the $2 level for the traceables.
Right.
So you get access to this bunny plus all the other YouTube traceables back to February 2017
Right.
for $2.
Yes.
That's a lot of traceables.
There's a lot of traceables.
And I also suggested in the Facebook group that once you're done using the traceables, you can give them to your kids or grandkids and they can color them.
Yep. And we
So,
did
I
that
mean,
with Liam. Yeah.
It's like free coloring book after that.
Exactly.
And then at the $5 level, you get the traceables plus you get a bonus video, which is currently scheduled for the last Sunday of this month, postponed due to surgery.
Yeah.
Which is now in the rearview mirror. And
Thankfully.
well, so what is the bonus video? What are we?
We are painting a horse this month. So
Oh,
it's going to be a
nice.
horse in a field of flowers, of course.
Of course, the horse is the course.
And then we're painting another bunny in our challenge video. I'll show you that one. That's a $10 level, folks. And of course, it's not finished, but they're more realistic bunnies. So we're going to have another one over here. And this is very much in the rough early stages. So don't judge it yet. It'll get there.
Right. So the bonus video is one day. We'll do that on a Sunday. And it's 3, 4, 5 hours.
Right.
What happened? Oh, there's just the...
Your thing is showing up on the screen there.
Oh. Why is that?
I don't know.
Okay. Sorry about that. So that's a one day, 3, 4, 5 hours, depending on the painting and how we're doing. And then the $10 one is spread out each Thursday through the month.
Yes.
So much more in depth.
Yes.
Patreon.com/AngelFineArt.
And commercial.
And the confusing gray thing I was doing with my camera. How that turned
Yeah,
on, I don't
what
know.
is that?
I'm not sure, so it's off now. So.
Good. How long was it doing that for?
Not very long, because I turned my phone on so I could check to see what the paintings were on the newsletter. And it must have turned the camera back on when I turned my phone back on. So. You want to talk about the newsletter?
Yeah, we do a newsletter on Fridays. So, and we send that out. It's got information about basically everything we're doing. Definitely don't spam you. I don't send multiple emails every week. I have people I've signed up for that do that. It drives me crazy. So we don't do that. Trust me. No. No. Once a week. And sometimes if we've got something really special or we got something that has changed and we need to let people know urgently, we'll send out more than one a week. But for the most part, it's one a week on Fridays, and we'll send out a newsletter and try to get everything going on that week in there. So we're not clogging your inbox with a lot of information you don't want. Not trying to sell you stuff. That's another thing. Like, I've signed up for emails before, and it's just like every time they send you something, they're trying to sell you something. I'm like, okay, we're just trying to let you know what's happening. We're not trying to do a hard sell. I hate that kind of thing. So it took me a long time to even do Patreon. But really the only reason we did it is because it just made sense to do it in order to do the longer videos, because I like to do the longer videos, and YouTube doesn't pay you anything for doing a longer video. You're basically kind of get penalized almost in the algorithm, the almighty algorithm that nobody understands. And so I was frustrated with that, and I wanted to do the longer videos, but every time I did, I, made $20 off of 5-hour work, and it wasn't enough. It didn't make sense, as a business to do it that way. So this just gives us a little bit extra money, and we've been able to upgrade our studio too. It's been way more successful than I ever anticipated, and we've been really, really blessed by our wonderful patrons who support us monthly, and we've been able to do all kinds of fun things that I wouldn't have been able to do just on YouTube. So anyhow, I don't know how I got into that subject, but just talking about emails. So
Yeah.
yes, we're not
We have some pretty amazing supporters.
trying to sell you everything every week.
Thank you.
Yes, we do. We do. You guys are amazing.
Despite the annoying guy in the background talking, we still have supporters.
The ones that are supposed to be here love you, hun.
Oh, good.
The ones that people that don't, there's okay, plenty of other channels out there that don't have annoying guys in the background talking, so
Oh yeah, that's
Where
the
you
other
can go.
bonus of the $10 level, that the Thursday challenge
True.
video. I'm not
True.
there, so
yeah. So if that's a problem for you, you can
you can pay for me not be there.
you can pay just to hear me. I'm trying to debate whether I think I'm just going to go ahead and paint over this whole area, the flowers, and at least over the top portion of it. I do like having this orangey showing through, so I kind of wanted that around my flowers too, but at the same time, I think it'll be easier to do it this way, so we'll just kind of, okay, there we go. So, and honestly, you could leave it like that. You didn't have to do the boho bunny. You don't have to do the flowers. If you're ready for the next step, I'm ready to paint some flowers. Let's do it. Let me think.
Love that blue color.
Yeah, I like it. I'm glad we did the blue. I do. I'm glad I left it blue. You're welcome. It's fun. It's more cheerful. All right, so I'm gonna need more white here. I do these very loosely. So these are gonna be similar to our bunny as far as just looseness factor. Oh, we got him done in an hour. That's great. We rocked it on the bunny.
Plenty of time to get pumped up for Oak Island.
Yes. Have they found anything this season?
They found some leftover paper from Dynamite.
Nice. That's exciting.
It is just amazingly, mind-numbingly. Don't have to think.
Yeah, it's a fun show. Alrighty, so I decided to add some flowers that aren't in our photograph. Build it out a little bit more. So there is this white rose that's kind of right in the middle, so I do want to put that in here. It's kind of low between the eyes. So I'm going to build that out with kind of a darkish. I added some yellow to my white here. Some of these, just a little bit of both of these yellows. And I'm going to use that as my kind of base for this white rose. And the shape is going to be kind of angular here. So the outer parts of the petals are going to be angling out. Cute. Let me make it a little bit bigger. I want to fill up most of this middle part of the bunny. Okay. And then the center of the rose, I want to do, let me do a little bit of a darker grayish brown. So I'm going to get a little bit of that yellow and a little bit of the burnt umber and burnt sienna. I'm just going to kind of make colors I'm looking at my photograph just to see where the dark parts of that rose are. So that's where I'm going to put that color, and we've already got it rosed pretty much, you know. And then we can go back in with the white and just kind of hit up some of the top areas of the flower that we're seeing that white color. In the center, there's always kind of like this little mismatch, like two C's intertwining in a rose. That's kind of how I like to do it. Good way to do the center of it. All right, that looks good. Good enough. Let's go ahead and move on. Looks like a little trooper, doesn't he? He's so cute. I'm gonna get some of the yellow with my green here, or with my turquoise teal color. And I want to make it a little bit darker, so I'm going to add some of the Ultramarine Blue. And just set my brush down and make some little leaves around my flower. And coming out, just going to do some little spiky leaves and green things happening. Just a few. I'm just trying to fill in around this rose a little bit here. Give it a little bit of a dark backdrop. It'll look a little bit better having some green around it. Okay, now we can build in around it with some other flowers. I'm going to try to kind of wipe off the excess so my paint doesn't mix with my flowers that I put on after this. You could dry it at this point, probably be a good idea, but nobody got time for that. Right. Gonna get my red and magenta here and add my white to it to make a peachy pink, salmon-y color. The more of the orangey, more salmon color it'll be. It's kind of close to the background color. And I'm going to do my other two big flowers with this. So I'm going to do large. Use a darker color in the center. Something like that. I'm definitely going to have to let that dry. may have to have you take this and dry it for me, hun.
Okay.
Because I don't know that this is gonna dry in time. I do see some kind of uneven little bits right here, so I'm gonna get some of that turquoise and blue, a little bit of burnt umber with the unbleached titanium, and just kind of brush over any bits that look kind of funky to me. You ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I am. There. And while he's doing that, I'll show you kind of the brush strokes that I'm using for the flowers. So, kind of starting with these kind of more like English roses are going to have more of a rounded shape. And then the petals are going to crisscross from the center in kind of a haphazard way like that. And along the outside edges, I'll kind of give them a little bit more shape. But that'll be pretty much all we're doing. Then for some of the smaller filler flowers, I'm going to be just setting my brush down and kind of pulling in. This is a Filbert, so it's going to make these nice little rounded tipped petals. Just by smushing my brush down, and if I hold on it on its side, I can kind of get a good point, like a smaller brush stroke. Or if I lay it flat, I can get a little bit wider and kind of twist it toward the center. So however you want to do your brush strokes there. And then for the smaller, like dotted flowers, I'm just going to kind of turn it and use the tip of it and kind of smush it to the side a little bit. So just like a slight sideways action on the brush, and that'll give me like little dots. You can also use like an angle brush and dot the tip down, or a round brush or something like that, but that'll be kind of for some of those. And then for the leaves are going to be basically like these, only, pointing outward. For the rose that I did, I was kind of making my outer petals more angular, filling them in like that. And then as you go towards the center, they just kind of start to overlap one another and go in and out, kind of in between the spaces. So a petal will go in between these two petals, and kind of like laying bricks where you've got these two petals meeting, and then you're going to have another petal that's going to kind of be in the middle there. And I usually kind of set some darker color in the middle and then go around with my lightest color and build back out some petals that shape it out a little bit. That's not a great example, but you get the idea. Okay.
That one rose looks a
little moist still. Okay.
It's okay.
Okay. I'm going to switch to a little bit smaller brush here. So I'm going to use the 2 Filbert here, and that way I can kind of get a little bit more control on these flowers that I'm doing here. So I can get some white and get that. And when I'm trying to make a lighter pink, don't try to make this pink. Just get a little bit of this color and make a pink over here with your white. Because if you try to mix it into here, you're just going to end up adding all of your white to it. So there we go. And then, so these are dry enough that I'm just going to kind of go in here now with this brush and start drawing in my little, I might get a little bit more of that, a little bit both of these colors. This would be kind of similar for carnations, where they've got those kind of roughly etched petals. The ones that are kind of facing out are going to be a little bit bigger. We're going to see more of them, and then the ones that are sort of in the middle here, we're going to just see like little bits and corners of them. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Get a little bit of the darker dark. Cute. And to get the bigger petals, I'm just pressing down a little harder. That's all. Okay, so that's pretty good. Let's do some small little yellowish flowers. Just want to get some yellow, maybe a little bit of the Indian yellow hue. There we go. I'm going to do some small yellow flowers up in here, just like a cluster of them right there. And then my white, I'm going to set down and pull toward the center to create some petals. I've got a pretty good amount of paint on my brush here. Cute. Leaving just a little bit of that darker pink yellow in the middle part of these. And then I'm going to get some of the orangey, mix that with the yellow. Find those centers, just dab in some orangey yellow. Let's get some turquoise flower leaves in here. I feel like we've got all the fun colors down here, and we're doing all of our flowers like really normal colors. Let's do some fun colors up here. Go. And then let's get some white here. And I'm just going to kind of create some little leafies with this, kind of using the colors that were already there from the first layer that we did, kind of outline some of them. I don't know, I think I want a bigger, wider petal there. Let's go ahead and get a little bit of blue and yellow. Ultramarine Blue. There we go. And the thing that this is lacking right now is depth. You see how all of it is pretty much the same value? Like if I took a photograph of this and was like black and white, it'd all be pretty much on the same like color spectrum, or like level. It'd probably be all like middle grays. So I need to bump up some contrast here. I think that's going to be really important here. So I'm going to get some of my darker color and add it to my center of my flowers here. This is just gonna help give me a little bit more depth, and we'll have a little bit, better conversation going on. The white is tricky because you don't want to overpower it. It's but I do want a little bit more than what it's got right now, so I'm gonna get a little bit of blue and added a little bit of burnt umber in my white here. I'm just going to go in here, and I know this is scary because you're going to be like, we're ruining our flower, but it'll be better when we finish it. So I'm going to get a little bit of the white now. This may not have been the right color to use with it. Should have used a little warmer brown, just a darker brown. Try that instead of the black or the brown. Blue, and you could leave it if you didn't, if you're happy with yours, just leave it, it's fine. I'm gonna darken this up a little bit and start over because I didn't like the darkness level, so just gonna bump it up a little bit. A little bit of white. And these white roses are not really fully white. If you look at them carefully, they've got a lot of other colors going on in them. Adding a little bit of yellow here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this off. It's just not drying, and it was not helping. Okay, so that we're back down to where it was dried before. When we very first did it, although it's a little bit darker than it was. Let me start over. Let me try some green, maybe. I think maybe green. Just trying different things here with this yellow, this white. It just not quite cooperating. Maybe a little bit of that. Maybe some of the color in our bunny here. The green is probably going to help. Green and maybe burnt sienna and yellow. That's the burnt sienna and yellow is what we used before. Okay, so what I'm just looking for is a darker tone that I can use with this rose. It's not going to make it look funky. There we go. Maybe. We'll see. And I need to let that dry, and then we'll come back to it. So we use this color a little bit in my center of my flowers here, and I need to use like a really dark color in there too, like a burnt umber here. That will give it much more depth. Getting that orange again. Maybe even use this orange. Okay, and then doing a dark green. So let's get a bit of our teal color, which we don't have any left. Some more ultramarine blue. Mix those two together with a tiny bit of black and some of the yellow. Try some ultramarine blue in the Indian yellow hue here. Make it even darker. Okay. There we go. See how that is going to help? That's going to give us more depth. Our flowers are not going to look like they're floating. And they'll look like more part of our bunny. Alright, let's do... I think I want to keep my greens on the blue-green side, not too yellow. So I'm going to add more teal to that. A little bit more teal with my yellow, and then more of the white for a light turquoisey sage green there. I'm going to mix it with this darker color and just kind of blend it out. So I have a little bit of both of them in there. There we go. And then let's do some blue flowers. So get the ultramarine blue. How you doing, hon?
I am doing good.
Okay.
I'm checking to see if you have a humidifier in your Amazon shop.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Something we talk about all the time. Help keep
Yeah, I
your
need to add
paints
one.
moist. Yeah.
Yeah, the one that I use. Alright, so I'm going to use the ultramarine blue for the darker parts. Adding a little bit of white to it. And then the other blue. I haven't finished that yet, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do some little kind of forget-me-not type flowers right there. Cute. This blue is going to really help tie everything together too, because it's so much in our bunny. Getting that lighter blue with the white. And I'm just basically swiping my brush side to side to get these little petals. So I'm not being particularly careful or trying to make them look like flowers. Your brain will kind of interpret them as flowers because of the context and everything. I'm just keeping them pretty simple. I do need to work on these roses though. I don't like them yet. This one especially looks a little weird. A little funky. Getting some white. Gonna kind of lay in bricks here, just trying to kind of bring my petals around each other, fit them in next to each other as best I can. Dog in the background snoring. At least he stopped squeaking. Although I don't know which was worse, snoring or squeaky toys. There we go. A little bit better. Kind of wish it was a little bit looser. I kind of tightened up a little bit when I was fixing it. So I'm going to try to kind of muss up the edges a little bit. But close enough. Okay, so let's get a little bit more of that blue. I'm going to get a little bit of magenta. Add to the blue for kind of a light purple lavenderish color with some white. So I want to go a little bit lighter than the blue I've already done. I'm just going to add a little bit of this to these blue flowers, just a little bit of it for some highlights. Okay.
Okay, got a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Did you add yellow to the white roses to make them that creamy color?
I did.
Okay.
Yes.
Most of us weren't paying attention.
Yes. Okay. As if they go back and watch it.
It's a very interesting time. You know, there's a person painting and talking in the background while the rest of us are talking about food and things.
Hard to concentrate
Yeah.
when food's being discussed. I understand. But yes, we did. We added, I think, a little bit of burnt sienna and burnt sienna and what color am I thinking of? Burnt umber, maybe? I can't remember. I have to go back and watch. Don't remember off the top of my head. It's been too long. Okay.
And there's a cardinal singing outside the window.
Yep. Lots of chirp, chirp, chirp. It's got lots to say.
He's happy for the time change and it's staying light later.
Mm-hmm.
Did they have watches? Did they know that?
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. So it's pretty much the same time for them.
Probably. Okay, just adding more little bits with my brush here with the darker green here. I'm just going to kind of add some shape around the head here, filling around. Going to try to curve and cup around the face here to kind of direct the eye around. Really fun little bunny though. I might use some turquoise, just kind of mostly turquoise. Do a few leaves with that. Maybe a little bit of turquoise and burnt up, or ultramarine blue.
So, shall we? I haven't been paying attention either, so forgive me, but should we play What Has Angela Forgot?
Yeah,
Okay.
do it. What have I forgot?
Well, people have already said in chat, so I wasn't sure if you knew.
I don't know. I'm not watching chat, so I have no
Oh,
idea.
okay. Well, like I said, I wasn't paying attention, so I didn't know. You say, well, I'll do that after I do this. And so
What?
it's something around the nose and mouth.
Oh, the whiskers? Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to do those. I do. I did intend to do that, yes.
Somebody says rhymes with Fiskers.
Okay. It's still a little bit pale, a little bit, you know, what's the word? Lacking in contrast, but I'm not really sure if I want to mess with too much more. I kind of am liking the flower shapes at least more now. Just adding little bits of highlight there and here and there. Still feel like I probably could go a little bit darker with the contrast on some of these parts. I don't have my dark turquoise. So if you had your dark turquoise, you could use that instead of this turquoise and ultramarine blue, but there we go. Just need like a little bit darker tone there to set it off. There we go. A little bit better. And I could maybe do a little bit of purple since we've got so much of the magenta and purple going on in our bunny. So maybe we should do like a little bit of a flower that has some magenta in it. So the purple and the ultramarine blue, like the color that we've got down here, you know, in the ear here. Maybe do some of that up in the flowers. So here, I'm going to make these ones have some of this really dark wine color. I think that will help give it some dramatic, like, contrast. So we've already got the green here. I'm just going to kind of make these little buds with this dark, much better. And then, you know, if you feel like it's too dark, you know, we'll go back in and add a little bit of highlight on top, but at least then the dark part will stay, you know, there, and we'll just have a little bit of it peeking through, but it'll be much more depth. See how much better that is than, you know, just that without the dark kind of have to have both. Dark makes you appreciate the light more. Sure, there's a life lesson in there somewhere. I think Bob Ross said you had to have the dark times to appreciate the light or something like that. Something to that effect. I don't remember exactly how he put it, but
Good stuff.
agreed, Bob. Get some more of that ultramarine blue and mix it with this color that we've got going down here and add some to the blue flowers just to give them a little bit more depth. I might put a little bit of blue up in here. I like it. Starting to come together. I kind of feel like there's a lot of light against light right here, so maybe I'm gonna pull a leaf or something in front of that. These two a little bit. Right there. Might even do just some leaves coming in front of it a little bit. You know, your flowers aren't going to play nice. They're all crowding for space. So give them a little bit more of an overlap there. Here we go. Now we're talking. All right, let's give him a little whiskers. And for that, I'm going to get my liner brush in my titanium white in my bottle here. Actually, I'm going to use a Titan Buff. It'll be a little bit softer color, not so in your face. So the fluid white is just I'm going to add a little bit of blue. Fluid color, the fluid acrylic. Sorry, I'm getting to where I can't come up with words here. It will make this a little bit easier. So I'm gonna load up my brush with fluid paint and just try to get these in one long brush stroke and make sure that I've got good like movement here just to be able to do. And overlap different directions. And then right here where they start, I'm just going to kind of tap that off. Because that part kind of can look a little bit funky where they begin. So just makes it a little bit softer looking. Okay, let's get the other side. If you get a good brush that can keep hold a good point, I'm holding it pretty close to the end here. You can hold a little bit farther out if you want, but before it dries, I need to dab that off. Now, you can also go back in, and I didn't get to get that one in time, so I'm going to have to go back in and do some color correction on there. See, this one didn't quite go smoothly. If your paint's not fluid enough, you can get these broken lines too. So that's one thing that, oh yeah, he needed the whiskers for sure, for sure. Adds a ton of character, personality. Give him some little ones around his mouth here. Super cute. Okay, so then at the end here, I'm just going to have to kind of color correct that where they're starting. So just try to get some of that. Can't remember exactly what that color is there. Unbleached titanium with some blue and burnt umber, a little bit of magenta, just whatever that kind of dirty gray color that we were working with. And just kind of softly, and if it's more blue, get a little bit more blue. Whatever that color is that's underneath where you put your whiskers, just kind of add a little bit of it. A little bit of it on top where the whiskers start. You don't have to do it to all of them, but if they're not, you know, if it's not noticeable, but like this one that's right here by the nose that's got no other colors around it, this color, if you just kind of dab off right where it starts, it will look more natural. It'll look like it's got something where, you know, like a little shadow where it's going down in. Just fuzzing out those little whiskers. Okay. I'm going to bring that up just a little bit. I'm noticing it's a little low right here. Fun. And then I'm going to throw in some like long sticks, stick-like stuff. Here, get some burnt umber and blue, and just put in some long I don't know if I like these or not. You can leave them off if you don't like them. Or you could put flowers on the end of them. I might do that. I might just put some like little white flowers, dab some on there. Get a little bit of green. Just felt like it was too like close to the head. Looking a little boring, so I want to mess it up a little bit. Here we go. Yeah, make it a little bit more crazy. We have all this room to work with. Might as well use it. Way more room for flowers. Why are we wasting it? Oh, I like the dots. For sure that helped.
Yeah, I think we can add some Christmas lights in there too.
Be quiet.
There's still some space in the upper left corner there.
Go away.
So which liner brush are you using?
This is the one liner, number one.
In which series?
VelvetTouch.
VelvetTouch. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's do a little bit of white on the flowers and we'll be done, I think. The famous last words. Kind of like baby's breath almost, but not quite. Oh yeah, that's cute. I like it. That's what it needed. Just was too fussy. Like everything else about this bunny is like really free and open and fun, and our flowers were getting a little too fussy. This breaks it up. Yeah, cute. You know, I probably, if I was to do this over again, I probably wouldn't do the rose in here. I would probably do a different flower that's not quite as clean, if that makes sense. Like, or maybe do my rose a little bit differently so that it wasn't as, I don't know, just a little fussy. Seems like it works, but yeah, cute. It's cute. All right. And then let's get some of the orangey Quinacridone burnt orange and add some white to that. If I've got any left. Added a little bit of magenta too. Adding a few little dabs of that. And these aren't even real like defined flowers. We're just add little dots. Okay. I feel like kind of the more you confuse the eye, the better with these kind of paintings sometimes, you know, like when you get to the end stages here, and you start adding more like little things in, it kind of helps break up the patterns and create unexpected things. Using some of this lighter, brighter green here, just over the top, lots of overlapping depth. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna do a little bit of highlighting on this. These. I always like to do like 2 to 3 layers of color on any color story that I've got going on. So if I've got this or this light orangey color there, just want to add a little bit of the other on it. Do we need anything on the blue ones? I don't think I do. I could maybe add a little bit of the light blue to these ones. Anything else we've missed?
I don't think so.
Okay. Can get some white with my yellow here. Clean up that. Yeah, I mean, I like the white flower, but I don't love it. So I don't know what it is about it, but I think it's okay. It's just not my favorite part of the painting. This is one of those that I'd probably set and look at it for a couple days and then probably make adjustments to it, might find something that I wanted to change later. But I like how the fur turned out. I like the bunny itself. I think it's super cute. So I think the flowers are 80% there. But I'm going to stop for tonight because I know it's driving Mark crazy, and I don't know where to go with it. So I'll make it worse if I don't just stop and think on it, kind of thing. So usually when you get to the point where you're like, I'm not sure what to do next, that's when to stop. So exactly, if you keep messing with it, it's not gonna progress the painting. So stop, take a break, put it somewhere you can look at it for a couple days, and then you might figure out what it is you want to change about it. But I like him. He's cute, and he goes along with the other boho that we did. Show the boho sheep. He's got the same kind of colors and similar look, to the flowers. So I think although he's more blue and the sheep's more normal colors, but you get the idea. There, okay. And I probably should not have picked up that one with this marker open in my hand, but okay. I'm gonna sign it. Super chat. What?
Yeah.
Squeaky toys. Excellent.
Super chat. Turn it off. All right. So the super chatter tonight's from Patty. She says, "This is so cute.
Oh.
Can't wait for the bonus video of the horse soon too." And earlier she did this and she said, "You're almost up to 30 cute so far."
Are you serious?
And you've exceeded 35, I believe. Right
oh my
now.
gosh.
It's the best we can tell. We think we're low, but 35 at least.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Yeah, he deserves it. Every cuteness. He deserves every cute he got. I guess guys like flowers too,
Yeah. But yeah, this would go great with that sheep in a kid's room. The colors are just amazing.
Oh yeah,
so.
they are. They're very similar. And the backgrounds work. I actually don't care that the blue is here because you've got the blue in the background, so it kind of fits, nicely. And you could do him more normal colors if you wanted to also, or do him kind of more funky colors and put more blue or, greens or just oranges or pinks or whatever in his fur, in the sheep fur, if you wanted them to be. But this is the $5 level bonus video from a couple of months ago, I think, that we did. So, yeah. And you could match up the flowers too if you wanted to. So you could do the same kind of flowers. I did the similar color flowers. So they would totally match. And I kind of like them being a little bit different too. So totally up to you. Your painting, your choice to do it however you want to. But do another super chat right at the end here.
Chat,
Nice.
Yeah. This super chat is from Shannon. And boom. There it is.
Oh, thank you, Shannon. Oh, it's very sweet.
Turn that out there.
Shannon sent us some really fun stuff from Hawaii.
Oh yeah, she sent spam.
Exactly.
It was awesome.
Very awesome. Very cool. Thank you so much. All right, guys, have a great rest of your week, and we'll be here. We're going to be doing an early show on Saturday, so if you're part of our Saturday crew and watch us on Saturdays, be sure to come here. I don't know if it's
early. Because you get the daylight savings change plus we're doing it early.
I don't remember what time it is. 11 or what time it was at 10 or 11.
Check real quick.
But we're going to be painting a totally made up design of a nest with some flowers and a bluebird. So I'm really excited. It was kind of my first digital drawing that I've done for a video like this. So it's not really great drawing to work with, but it's
awesome.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cute.
So it's 11 a.m.
11
So
a.m.
it's going to be 3 hours earlier than normal.
Right. 11 a.m. on Saturday. We're painting the bluebird with a little nest and some eggs and some flowers. I think it's going to be a really, really fun spring project. Very, very spring. If this one doesn't scream spring, that one does too. So they'll be similar colors too. So they probably would go together as well nicely. So hope you join us for that and come back for more videos on not next Tuesday. We're going to be off, but the following week we'll be back. So our schedule is down. If you click on my name, it's in the live stream is in my channel. What am I trying to say?
Your channel list?
My channel page. Homepage or whatever.
Your YouTube.
Yeah. But yeah, and it's also listed on Instagram and Facebook on my pages there. So it's usually at the very top of the page on Facebook, and all the links for those are down in the description. Those will show the Patreon videos as well as the YouTube videos. So if you go to YouTube here, it'll only show the YouTube ones, but Patreon ones will be listed in my schedule on Instagram and other places. So, all right, that's it. I'm done talking. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.